Me and my wife have been married for 11 years. We met at work, and after developing a solid friendship, we decided to take our relationship further. Once we were dating, we never looked back. Our lives fit together perfectly. She truly felt like the missing puzzle piece in my life. We married, had 2 kids, bought a house, and adopted a puppy. She ended up resigning so she could stay home with the kids after I got a big promotion that more than made up for the loss of her income. With that promotion came late nights at the office and business trips out of town. She and I both thought that my occasional absence from home was worth it in the long run because we didn't want to be one of the couples that have to hire a nanny to raise our kids. Everything was going great until my wife slipped and fell at a grocery store. Some careless employee didn't put a sign up after they mopped, so she injured herself. The fall was mostly mild, but she was left with some lingering back pain. I did what I could to help her. I didn't mind giving her a back rub when she was sore, and I'd help her whenever possible. As good as I like to think I am with my hands, even I have to admit my massages are nothing compared to a professional's. We ended up searching online for some massage parlors in the area with good reviews, and she booked her first treatment. I didn't think anything of it. I assumed it would be somewhat like a spa day for her. I thought she would be lying on a table with flute music in the background while someone rubbed oil into her back. But when she came back, I realized it was something different. She had this glow about her that I'd never seen. She told me about how light she felt and how amazing it was. Later that night, we even had sex for the first time since she'd fallen because she wasn't in pain. At first, I almost wanted to send the masseuse a muffin basket or something for helping her. I paid for a 2-month-long service where she was scheduled to get another massage once a week. I was just happy that she wouldn't be in pain anymore. The next session came, and she had the same glow she did when she got home. I asked her about how it was, but she didn't give as many details. She shrugged her shoulders and told me it was about the same. Not gonna lie, I was a little excited, thinking I might get to spend some intimate time with her later that night. When we got in bed, she just rolled right over and went to sleep. I didn't let it bother me, and I did the same. This continued for the next 2 massages. On top of her not sleeping with me for 3 weeks, she had been growing distant. She hardly wanted to be in a room alone with me. She didn't want to have our date nights, and it felt like every conversation we had was surface level. I was going to be away on a business trip for a week, so I wanted to do something to try and bring us together before I left. One thing I knew she loved was those massages. I was curious about that myself, so I booked us a couple's massage. It was a complete surprise. I didn't even tell her we were going on a date. When we drove there, my wife was shocked to see what I planned. Looking back, the shock was probably anxiety or fear because I was going to be in the room with her and her lover. But at the time, I trusted her and didn't think she could ever hurt me, so that was the last thing on my mind. The receptionist was friendly with my wife, asking about how her massages had been helping. For the first time, I realized it was a man. That wasn't a red flag right away. I knew that many men worked in the industry, but I was surprised my wife hadn't mentioned that. I know that if the tables were turned and a woman was massaging me once a week, I'd have told her. The masseuse came out a while later to get us and bring us to our room. I'm not an insecure guy, but when I saw him, I was a little paranoid about why my wife hadn't mentioned anything about him. He was very attractive. We walked into the room, and we were getting ready to begin. Another masseuse came in for me, an older woman, and we began. I had never had a professional massage before, so I was pretty into it, but I was trying to pay attention to my wife too. At one point during a massage, I looked over and saw her masseuse sensually running his hands down her back, lingering right above her butt. Red flags were going off as soon as I noticed that her towel was lower than it should have been, and she wasn't complaining at all. I couldn't keep myself from wondering if that was how all of the massages went and if he went even lower when I wasn't there. When everything was done, we went back home. My mom had the kids for the night because I had originally intended on trying to be intimate with my wife, but I was too preoccupied. After I waited for her to go to sleep, I quietly reached for her phone and went to my office to look through it. I found the messages between her and the masseuse. Notably, they were under a fake name of a woman named Emma. My suspicions were confirmed as I read through. They ended up sleeping together after the second massage, and they continued their affair every time she visited the office. They exchanged some suggestive text messages and pictures. What hurt the most was seeing how easily she was able to pretend like I didn't even exist. There wasn't a single mention of guilt or remorse in any of the messages. I sent myself some screenshots of the messages and started packing my things to leave for my business trip. I would have a week to figure out what I was going to do from there. I left in the morning and pretended like everything was fine. While I was away, I thought about all of my options. I refused to stay with someone who cheated on me. I firmly believe that there is no changing a person like that. Divorce was my only option. With the screenshots I grabbed from my wife's phone, I could prove that she had violated our prenuptial agreement, so I knew I would pretty much get everything in the divorce. After some thinking, I decided the best thing for me to do would be to really ham it up and catch her in the act. I knew that would embarrass her and that would give me the grounds to get the masseuse fired. From what I read in their messages, they had been having sex in the room she was supposed to be getting her massages. When I got back, the first day that my wife was scheduled to go in for her treatment, I made my way over. I waved at the receptionist as I casually walked by. She tried to stop me, but I ignored her. I knew where my wife was and what I was doing. She followed me on the way there, yelling for me to go back to the lobby since the massages are private. I opened the door with the receptionist right behind me and saw my wife on the table with the masseuse on top of her. The receptionist audibly gasped and rushed back to the front desk. My wife was begging me not to cause a scene. None of it was a surprise to me, so I didn't. I told her right there that we would be getting a divorce, and she pleaded with me to reconsider and think about the kids. I contacted the business owner of the massage parlor and told him about what happened. The masseuse was fired on the spot for sleeping with a client on the property. I called all of the other local places and told them about what happened so they wouldn't hire him either. My soon-to-be ex-wife and I are beginning our divorce proceedings soon. She thinks she'll be awarded the house, cars, and spousal support, but she has a surprise in store. I never told her that I knew about the affair before I caught them. I honestly can't wait to see the look on her face. My conclusion to this story and advice to the author. I'm sorry to hear that you're going through such a difficult situation. Betrayal in a relationship is undoubtedly painful, and it's understandable that you're hurt and seeking a resolution. As you navigate this challenging time, here are some pieces of advice. Seek emotional support. Reach out to friends, family, or a therapist who can provide emotional support. It's crucial to have a support system during times of emotional turmoil. Consider professional help. Going through a divorce can be complicated, especially with the added complexities of discovering an affair. Consider consulting with a divorce attorney to understand your rights and options clearly. Communication is key. While it might be tempting to keep the knowledge of the affair as secret until the divorce proceedings, open communication is essential. Discuss your feelings and concerns with your soon-to-be ex-wife. It's important to express your emotions and set boundaries. Prioritize children's well-being. If you have children, prioritize their well-being throughout the divorce process. Consider involving a mediator or counselor to facilitate discussions and ensure a healthy environment for the children. Focus on your own healing. Healing from betrayal takes time. Focus on self-care and activities that bring you joy. Consider seeking individual counseling to help process your emotions and move forward. Be mindful of revenge. While the temptation for revenge is understandable, it's essential to consider the potential consequences. Focus on what's best for your well-being and the well-being of any children involved. Legal advice regarding prenuptial agreement. Consult your attorney regarding the evidence you have from the affair and how it may impact the divorce proceedings. Understanding your legal standing will help you make informed decisions. Future relationships. As you move forward, take the time to heal before entering into new relationships. Trust is vital in any relationship, and healing from this betrayal will take time. Remember, each person's situation is unique, and it's important to make decisions that align with your values and well-being. Seeking professional advice and emotional support can help you navigate this challenging chapter in your life.